This week on Book Reviews, we're doing something totally different. We're reviewing a supernatural young adult book from the 2000s.
Cigarettes on cigarettes, my mama think I stink. I got burn holes in my hoodies, all my homies think it's dank. I miss my cocoa butter kisses.
Have you ever had a person fall in love with you that was just too perfect? I know I have. I mean, considering all the women who have been trying to get a piece of this action, I'm sure that some are near perfection. This problem is among the many faced by the protagonist of Evermore by Alison Noel. Her name is Ever Bloom. She's a high school student and a bit of a goth. Considering that I only know goths from Danny Phantom and poorly written fanfics, I had pretty high expectations. She's emo because her family's dead and she has a special power to see people's aura, which essentially means that she can see their thoughts and feelings, if she gets close enough to them. Despite her super gothness and isolating herself, she winds up falling for the new guy at school. His name's Damon? Damon August? Damon Augusti? What? No, that's not a name. You know what? Screw it. Screw it, I'm not saying that. Damon August shall now be known as Greg, and Everbloom shall now be known as, Mary Sue. Her parents died in the same car crash that gave her aura reading powers. So Mary has a dead family and is cursed with the power of knowing way too much about people. Although her sister does come back as a ghost and seems pretty okay with it. She lives in a nice mansion under the care of Sabine, a woman who lets her do what she wants for the most part. Have I mentioned that Mary's very, very pretty? She was very popular before her parents' death, and even after it, she still has a small circle of friends despite isolating herself. For some reason, Mary can't read Greg's aura, and she can't read his mind. It's the allure of mystery and the idea of hanging around with a person she can't figure out, which leads Mary to pursue a romance with him. All we know about the guy is that he's super intelligent, very attractive, from Santa Fe, and very talented. The dude's essentially perfect. He's also pretty weird, too. And not in the sexy way. He lives in a house with no furniture and seems to be involved in the murder of a local girl. Hostility grows between the two, and Greg eventually decides to leave, feeling as though he's trying to protect Mary Sue from something. Wait, a mysterious, supernatural guy leaving his girlfriend to protect her? Oh boy. Luckily, things don't deteriorate into Twilight territory. Greg isn't a vampire, rather he's actually immortal. He can read minds, create things out of thin air, and do a bunch of other things that the plot demands he now do. Mary has little time to think about her old love interest, as she now has a new boyfriend who goes by the name Jack Daniels. That's right, kids! Mary Sue becomes an alcoholic! Let's be real here. If you found out that the guy you were spooning with was a couple centuries old, you might spend a few nights getting white girl wasted. Is it just me, or are Mary's problems oddly varied? One moment she's arguing with her boyfriend, and the next she's chatting with her ghost sister. She could be struggling with a real teen problem like alcohol abuse in one scene, and the next she's fighting an immortal she-demon who can control dimensions. It's like a realistic young adult novel and an outlandish fantasy had a baby. I should elaborate on that last part. Greg has an old girlfriend named Drina. She's the real antagonist of the story. She's immortal and has poorly explained powers just like Greg, but she wants to kill Mary rather than seduce her. Yeah, but Drina kinda sucks. Not in a vampire way or anything. She's a pretty horrible antagonist and a pretty bad character all around. She's been secretly manipulating things behind the scenes for months between Mary and Greg. She stages overly complicated plots to murder Mary, all the while giving villainous monologues to why she's doing it. Her personality is stupid. She's like any condescending villain, but rather than being jaded and above it all as you'd expect from a character with her kind of experience, she's just kinda snide and bratty. Despite Mary being unable to read her aura like Greg, good old Mary Sue figures out that this chick's up to no good in like 2 seconds after they meet. Eventually, we reach the final confrontation between Drina and Mary Sue. Mary finally embraces her aura powers after getting over her silly alcohol issues. Then, using her power and love for Greg, she kills Drina. Yeah, I mean, it was unintentional and kind of in self-defense, but she totally kills the chick. Then Greg and Mary go off into another dimension, where Greg exposits for a good 20 pages. Yes, the remainder of this book is exposition! Not even creative exposition. He's just sort of telling her things, and she's listening. To make a very long and boring story short, Greg is immortal because of alchemy or something, and Mary is a soul who keeps getting reincarnated because of a different kind of alchemy. Greg is in love with this soul, and Drina is in love with Greg, so the clear solution is to murder every reincarnation and keep Greg to herself. I can sympathize with this cause. If I had a nickel for every rival I've killed to keep a girl to myself, I'd have a few dollars and a lot lower body count. So what's the final verdict on Evermore? It's pretty well written with self-aware dialogue, a mysterious romance, and a genuinely cool concept. It's too bad that inconsistent themes, a lame antagonist, and boring exposition have to weigh it down. It's nothing to write home about, but it's certainly better than certain other romance novels. With that in mind, I give it a 6 out of 10.
Wait, what? What did you just say?
6 out of 10, what's wrong?
But isn't 6 an actual number? Don't you just usually do a funny sound?
I mean, I guess. I just wanted to do something a little bit more straightforward. Get my message across.
Say something funny, damn it.
My reviews are unbiased and pretty well written.
That is good.
Yeah, see you next week, guys.